Hey guys, this is Ben for In the Field Consultants again. Kind of want to finish up the conversation here about the I&J Sickle bar mower. Yesterday, I made the classic mistake of starting a live video and didn't realize my battery was about out, so that's why that video yesterday kind of abruptly ended it. So today we've got plenty of juice, and I kind of want to finish up talking about this mower, and then also have a little bit of a discussion here about why we're using a sickle bar mower instead of a disc mower. So we'll come back here, kind of look at the mower again briefly here. So yesterday I talked a lot about the positives, why we like the mower, the advantages we had with it. I was talking a little bit about some of the negatives, disadvantages. Didn't really get too far into that because of my boo-boo with the battery. My biggest gripes with this mower are a couple different things. The skid shoe here, this is adjustable and what determines the height of your mowing. And this bolt here didn't have a lock washer with it, nor did the other one up here at the top that adjusts the height out there. So it didn't take too long, and those guys got loose on me because I mean, a sickle bar mower does vibrate. That's how it cuts. So I ended up putting washers there to reinforce that. The original bolt right in here for this linkage unscrewed itself and fell out. So I put this in here. This is just a makeshift thing I did the other day just to keep on moving, and double nutted it so that this would stay reinforced. I think you can see from the one up here that it's one of those bolts that has supposed to have a lock washer built into it, but obviously they aren't the most trustworthy thing. So we're going to need to get something double knotted or put lock washers. I understand why this thing doesn't have lock washers on most of it, but it doesn't. That's something probably as I work on different things and go back through it, I'll be putting lock washers on stuff. Another thing is this thing is not the easiest implement to hook and unhook from the 3-point hitch. They have these tubular stands here that really have very little to no adjustment to it for if you're trying to match your tractor up. Of course, we're using the old international style here where it has the chains that go to your 3-point hitch, so we don't really have a lot of give. That doesn't help things versus if we're using maybe a little bit more modern 3-point hitch system. So that's more of a nuisance than an actual operation error. Nice thing is it does have the modern breakaway, same as you'd have on a disc mower. So if you hit a rock or something, the cutter bar breaks away instead of breaking extra stuff. The cutter bar is all dirty because it was raining yesterday while I was finishing up. Haven't had a chance to clean up because we're going to go out here and mow some more here in the next day or two. That is a nice thing. This thing will cut wet grass, so it'll cut short grass, tall grass, any kind of grass, it cuts it. That's something I'm very happy with. You kind of see again here kind of the double cutting design of the teeth. I guess kind of another thing that I touched on very briefly yesterday is this thing does require very little horsepower to run, and I'm very, very impressed with that. Very low PTOs, very low torque levels. So if you're a situation where you're a farm with small tractors, low horsepower, and you want to get a mower, highly recommend these for those positives about it. I guess one of our last minute complaint, I guess, is this system here for raising and lowering the cutter bar. It's just basically your hydraulic cylinder, and it runs down here to this arm. I'm not sure how I would do it better, but it's kind of chinchy and a little, it's not very smooth. It could be sloppy at times. You're either got the bar all the way up or the bar, falling rapidly down. This bar is extremely flexible. It's hardened steel, but it has a lot of give. And because of that, it will follow your contour really well. Very happy with that. I mean, I can mow in places with this mower that I wouldn't dare take a bush hog or something with a more rigid cutter bar. The negatives, that is, controlling your height can be a bit tricky. I mean, it's going to mow a little high in some places and a little low in others. I mean, it still has a pretty mow job, but it's not exactly the smoothest thing in the world. Okay, so why are we using a sickle bar mower instead of a disc mower or a disc bine or one of the more currently popular mowing machines? There's several reasons. One, I've run disc mowers and I like them. They are very, very nice mowers. But they take a lot of horsepower and they have breakaways and all sorts of safety stuff on them, but they do burn up from time to time. We were running one this past winter at a farm in Pennsylvania, and a rock hit the joint where the gasket was. It slowly leaked oil out with anybody noticing. Next thing you know, it completely seized up. And 3 weeks later, 4 different trips to the shop and 3 different trips to the parts store and a couple $100 in bearings later, we had it back up and running. But in talking with a guy who was familiar with those mowers, he's like, oh yeah, this happens every 2 or 3 years. You got, something happens and they burn up and you gotta tear them apart and put them back together. I was like, yeesh. I mean, I don't mind working on mechanical stuff, but seemed a little excessive to me. So obviously repairability was something I had in mind when we were looking at mowers. Obviously, as I've mentioned before, horsepower was, a concern for us. I wanted to use something that was nimble, kind of smaller because of our contour and the hills we're running around here. So the sickle bar fit with that. Rock damage was a big concern. Like I said, I've broken a few teeth on this thing because of hitting rocks bluntly. It's not a fault of the mower. It was driver error. And the nice thing was it took 5 minutes to switch these bars out. And I was back up and running, where if I'd been running a conventional disc mower or disc bind, I would probably have blown up the clamshell and then had to go down and replace some gears that would cost as much as gears usually cost, which is not cheap. So it's nice to have something that was quickly repairable. It does not mow as fast as a disc mower. It mows this particular disc sickle bar will mow a lot faster than the old sickle bars, but it's not a disc mower, and you shouldn't pretend that it is one. But it does do 9 feet, which is nice. That's about the standard cutting length for most modern mowers. But those were kind of some of the big reasons why we went with a sickle bar. As I touched on briefly in another video, we also wanted a mower that we could make hay with and also clean pastures with, and we've been doing that with this thing. I've probably mowed 100 acres with it here in the last 2 weeks, and it's done a great job. It's had the durability we were looking for and has held up well, doing multiple jobs. I wanted something that could be multi-purpose. I didn't want a single-use machine, which a disc mower, it would still have been multi-purpose, but it would have been limiting as far as what we could have done. So that was another reason why we went with a sickle bar mower. Like I say, if I was to go back and do it again, I'm very pleased with our choice. I'd buy this mower again, especially now that I know how it all puts together. I complained a little bit in yesterday's video about the manual, and that still stands true. But aside from that, very pleased with this, and I thought I'd go ahead and go over this and discuss this a little more. If you all have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will try to get back to you the next day or two, and we'll see where it goes from there. So I hope you guys are having a great haymaking season, and we'll look forward to talking to you all soon. Thanks.